So then a line is formed by at least 2 points. Back to September. That's stuff that we should know. All right, number 3 refers to the diagram. Well, first, let's fill out what we know in the diagram. What can I fill out here?
The letters that we...
Well, let's fill out the picture first. Do I know what SM is going to be?
No.
Okay, so what's MP and what's PN?
4.
Okay, they're both 4. So MP is 4, and PN is 4. Notice how we have these hash marks? So what's SM?
4.
That's also 4. Now can I figure out what NR is? The whole thing is 26. My first 3 segments add up to 12. How can I figure out what's left?
26 minus 12.
Okay, what do you get? 26 minus 12?
14.
All right, so Lindsay just told us that NR is 14, which is correct. What I don't want you guys to do is to say, it looks like NR is half of 26, so make that 13. Your numbers would be wrong. So always break it down based on what the information they gave us. Here, they gave us those hash marks, which helped. So now I can answer the questions. NR is what? What's the length of NR?
14.
Oh, we know. 14.
14. All right, number 3, what's the length of NP?
4.
All right, number 5, the length of MR. For MR, we have 4 plus 4 plus 14.
22.
22. And then for SM,
4.
any questions there? Number 7, find the coordinates of the midpoint of a segment with the given endpoints. All right, so for this we can use Desmos. I will have the formulas on the board during your midterm, but if you know how to use Desmos, that will make your life so much easier. So in Desmos, we're going to call this like point A and point B. So let's say that J is point A and K is point B. I want you to write this on your paper. Write A equals, what's my first point?
-1.
-17. What's my second point?
3, -3.
3, -3. What operation are they asking me to find?
The
Midpoint, distance? What are they asking for? Midpoint. So then we're going to type in midpoint of A and B. So, go to Desmos. All right, so in Desmos, in my first line, what do I write? A equals parentheses -1, 7. Guys, the only way that Desmos is going to work is if you actually learn how to use it. If not, you're not going to know what's going on. All right, so for my second point, what was that? -3, okay. What goes in this third spot here? What are we looking for? The midpoint, so type in those words. Midpoint, and then do A, comma, B. When that happens, Desmos graph the first point for you, the second blue point for you. My midpoint is right here in the middle. What is my midpoint? 1, 2. So for this one, we're going to write
1, 2.
1, 2 is my midpoint. I want you guys to circle number 8, doing that one for your homework. questions here? All right, the second part says, refer to the diagram. Before I even get started, I'm going to fill in what I can from my picture. What can I fill out in my picture? Okay, that right angle is going to be what? Huh?
DC.
Well, you see this square right here? That's the 90-degree angle, right? So if this part is 45, what's 90 minus 45? You should get 45. All right, so we have 3 of our 4 angles. How do I figure out this last angle here, the one on the far left side?
90 minus 50.
Nope. So think about this. Eli, on a straight angle, there's how many degrees?
180.
180. So I already have 50, I already have 45, and I already have 45. What can I subtract to get me to find that final one?
180 minus 140.
Yes.
It's gonna be 40.
But that's it, because so Nate's thinking ahead, which is good. But if you want to do 180 minus 50 minus 45 minus 45, what do you get?
40.
You get 40. That's what's left over here. All right, I want to fill that part out before I answer any of these questions. So it tells you name a right angle. Max, where's my right angle? What are those 3 points? You already told me it's right here, right?
Yeah.
So my right angle is FBD. You need 3 points to name an angle. You can do FBD or you can do angle DBF. Either way works. If I wanted to name an obtuse angle, it needs to be more than 90 but less than what? 180. What's an obtuse angle in this picture? FBE is only 45 degrees. FBA is only 40 degrees. FBC works. It's a pretty big angle, that's over 90. Alright, let's name an acute angle. Eli, take this one.
DBC.
DBC, yep, that works. You guys have different answers for this, and that's okay. Circle 12, 13, 14 for your homework. Alright, any questions on this part? You good, Eli?
Yeah.
Alright, so find the measure of the angle. Once again, this picture is the same picture that we just had. So I know that this part here is 45. I know this part here is 40. If you want to go through all the calculations again, you definitely can, but just take the same picture. Alright, it says find the measure of ABF. What is the measure of ABF?
40.
40 degrees. Number 16, what is the measure of DBA? You may have to add up some things for that. Eli, what'd you get?
I added them together, so I got 110.
Good. That's what you should get. Did you do 45 plus 45 plus 40?
Yeah.
Good. All right, you guys circle 17 and 18 for your homework. Let's look at number 19. A square garden has the side lengths of 14. So let's draw this garden. It says it has a side length of 14. What's special about a square? If one side is 14, what are the other sides?
14.
14 is a square. Each side has to be equal. So then it says, what is the perimeter? How do I find the perimeter? Huh?
So I don't know.
You guys know this. You guys learned perimeter years and years
It's
ago.
56.
Yeah, you add all your sides together. So what do you get, Nate?
56.
You can do 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14.
What are you 40 times 4?
Or you can just do 14 times 4. That's how I would do it. 14 times 4. Either way, you're adding up all your sides. Alright, once you're done with that, go ahead and turn the page. It's a review, so we're going through this as soon as we get it down. Make sure you guys are writing as I'm writing. If not, you'll be way behind. Alright, so number 20 says, write the symbolic statement in words using P and Q given below. Then give the name of each statement. Alright, we're not giving the name of the statement, which is okay. But this is from Unit 2. P says angle A is a right angle. Q says the measure of angle A is 90. What does this little squiggly line mean? Kevin, what does this squiggly line mean?
Similar?
Yeah, not. Alright, so not Q and not P. So Lindsay, what is my first part of the sentence? It's not Q.
Pause for a second. If your email's not up,
Alright, let's finish this up. Alright, so if not Q, then not P. Lindsay, what's the not Q? What's my sentence? We always start with
If not,
Nope.
if the measure of A is not.
Good. That's the first part. Guys, write this down. If the measure of angle A is not 90 degrees, then what, Lindsay? What's not P?
A is not a right angle.
Good. Then angle A is not a right angle. So this part's important. This is from Unit 2. You guys actually did very well on this unit, so I'm hoping you guys remember that. If the measure of angle A is not 90 degrees, then angle A is not a right angle. Alright, I want you guys to go ahead and circle this one because you're going to be doing the rest of it for homework. This one should not be difficult. Alright, let's look at number 21. Use the diagram to name the figures. Alright, let's name two opposite rays. Okay, so opposite rays could be, what's opposite to SL? No, if SL is going this way, what's the opposite?
And
SR. It has to still have at least one of the same letters. Or you could say SP, that could be opposite. Either one of those would work. What about number 22? A line parallel to QN. Here's QN. You have three choices. What could be parallel to that? PU. Good. What else? L what? Oh, M? Yep. What's another one? SR. Alright, so this one I made a mistake and I forgot to delete these two. So cross out 25 and 26, same exact thing. And then circle 23 and 24. Those are the ones for your home. Any Any questions here? All right, 27 through 31. We have maybe like 5 or 6 angle relationship pairs, okay? One of them was corresponding. Who remembers what another relationship was? What's called alternate?
Exterior,
Alternate exterior. What was another alternate?
interior.
Alternate interior. One starts with a V.
Vertical.
Yep, vertical angles. This is the vocab that we need to know. There's one that's like LP, 2 words, LP. I don't know, think.
Linear pair.
Yeah, linear pair. And then we also have, consecutive interior. Missing something, corresponding, alternate exterior, alternate interior, vertical angles, linear pair, consecutive interior. I think we're good. All right, look at angles 2 and 3. Angles 2 and 3 would be what? What's that relationship? That is corresponding. It is corresponding because it is the same angle and the same spot, basically. They're congruent to each other. Look at number 28. Well, what 2 and 4 be? Well, are they on the same side or opposite sides? So, now turn your head a little bit and imagine this is my interior, right? So that could be, actually, would it be alternate anything? That's a little tricky one, but that would be consecutive interior. Oh. Consecutive interior. What about 5 and 6? We should all know this, so I'll put your phone away. Yes, that is vertical. So 30 and 31 will be your homework. Turn the page. All right, number 32. They said, given that the measure of angle 1 is 75 degrees, they want us to figure out what is the measure of angle 5, angle 4, and angle 7. All right, so what's the easiest one to figure out here? 4, 5, or 7? Okay, what's 4 going to be? That's a vertical angle, right? So the measure of angle 4 is going to be what? Guys, the vertical angle. Come on, don't just sit here and wait for the answers. It's not a group midterm. What? Good. Alex, how'd you get 75? Because they're congruent. That one should be a very, 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 very easy one for us to find. Vertical angles are always congruent. All right, what about number 5? Number 5 and number 1 are corresponding angles. They're also congruent. So angle 5 is going to be 75 degrees. Four and 7 are consecutive interior. They add up to equal 180. So therefore, what is the measure of angle 7? No. Angles 4 and 7 have to add up to give me 180.
105.
105. Good. questions on number 32? All right, number 33. What is the relationship between this angle and that angle? Or do I have a relationship? Oh, one's on the inside, one's on the outside. Right? This is a little tricky because you have to see that 25 is corresponding. They can go up there as well. So because both of these angles are on one line, they're going to be equal to what? Straight angles. So what is that equal to? They're equal to 180. So we have 25 plus 44 minus 3x is equal to 180. I combine both of those angles to equal 180. Once we get there, what do we do? What do we normally do? We solve for x. All right, but now we can use Desmos. Once again, Desmos only helps you if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, well then you got to solve the old school way. Solve for x. All right, so I'm going to type in exactly what I have. 25 plus 44 minus 3x is equal to 180. You may have to zoom out to see your answer. What'd you get, Max? Good. Your answer should be negative 37. I zoomed out just enough to see my graph. And it shows me negative 37. So my answer here x equals negative 37. All right, number 34. My angle relationship here is what? They're both on the interior. Eli, what do you think this is? Yeah, they're alternate interior. So will they be equal to each other or equal to 180?
To each other.
Equal to each other, so they're congruent. They're equal to each other, that means that they're congruent. So Eli, what is my equation going to be?
4x plus 4 is congruent to 52.
Well, it's equal to, right?
Oh, 52.
We're going to get 52. 92? Type that into Desmos. What do you get for your answer? What is x equal?
Uh, 22.
22. All right, I want you guys to circle 35, 36, and 37. For 35, they're both consecutive interior angles. Are they going to be equal to 180 or equal to each other?
180.
They're equal to 180. What about 36? They're equal to each other. Good. So put they're congruent. And then what about 37? This is an isosceles triangle. If this bottom part here is 35, see these hash marks, Max? All right, so that's something like my base angles are going to be the same. So that's 35. What's the bottom one? This is also 35. So now can you figure out what angle x is?
Yes.
Yep, you sure can. If you have two angles, you can always find the third. All right, let's look at our slope. Okay, for the slope, there are two lines. Okay? Because there are two lines, they want you to find the slope of each line. So they said line 1 and line 2. That's what they're called. Okay, you guys remember that there's a slope formula, right? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Our slope formula is n equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 plus m. All right, but you may not need your slope formula. Look at this first line here. I have 2 points. How can I find slope to solve for 1? So all pay attention. How do I find my slope in this first line? If I have 2 points. You guys remember rise over run? Alright, how do I get from the first point to the second point? I'm rising how many, Max?
2. Oh, 2.
So 2, and I'm going over 1. So what's my slope? Just 2. Because it reduces. We have to reduce our slope. We're up 2 over 1. What about my second line? How do I get from this first point to my second point? I'm rising how many?
4.
I'm rising 4. And I'm going over 2. When I simplify that, what's 4 over 2?
2 over 1.
Well, just 2. So when they ask me, are the lines parallel? Yes or no? Yes, because I have the same slope. They are parallel. Circle 39 for your homework.
And this is due next step.
Yep. All right, so number 40. Decide whether the lines P1 and P2 are perpendicular. What does this mean? What does this word perpendicular mean? What do my 2 lines have to make? What kind of angle? A right angle, right? So in order for it to be perpendicular, your 2 lines have to make a right angle. We're looking at our slope. If we look at our slope, in order for it to be perpendicular, it has to be opposite reciprocal. Okay, if it's opposite reciprocal, then it works. All right, look at 3/4 and 4/3. Are those opposite?
Yeah.
Okay, they're already flipped, so that's the reciprocal part. But opposite means that one slope would be positive, the other would be negative. Is that the case here? No. So let's look at Desmos. We can type this in and look at our lines. So let's type in our lines here. The first one is y equals 3/4 x plus 2. And your second line is y equals 4 divided by 3. Slide over to get x minus 1. Are those 2 lines crossing at a perfect right angle?
Yes.
They are?
No.
They're crossing, but is it a perfect right angle?
No.
No, because they are reciprocals, but they're not opposite. Let's see what happens when I make this 4/3 a negative. You see how that's a right angle? Okay, that's the difference. So this is not perpendicular. It has to cross at a perfect right angle. So this is not perpendicular. That's the sign for perpendicular. Once you fill that out, circle 41. For 41, solve for x first. Or sorry, solve for y first. Make it easier for yourself. Okay, I have 42 circled for you guys, but we're going to talk about one part of it. Part A is all Desmos. We've already done that. So you can look at your notes. and do find midpoint of Desmos. But look at part B. Let's find the distance. When we're finding the distance, I'm doing the same thing. What is my first point here? What did they tell me? What was R? Negative 3/8. All right, and what's B?
3/6.
3/6. And what are we trying to find? No,
Going with the distance.
we're trying to find the distance of A and B. So let's go to Desmos. All right, so we said my first point was negative 3/8. My second point was 3/6. And we're looking for the distance of AB. What distance did they give us? What's that number? 6.32. Let's go ahead and round to 2 decimal places. So my distance is 6.32. If you don't remember to do that, you can use your formula. You just have to know how to plug in your x1, your y1, your x2, and your y2. This way is a whole lot easier. So your distance is 6.32. Any questions there? All right, so we only have 3 more to do together. Yeah. Find the perimeter. All right, we already know that our perimeter is the outside of my triangle. Let's look at this line here, PQ. PQ is 24. That's what they told us. Okay? Each piece here is cut in half. So what is PS and what is SQ? Kevin, what's PS? It's half of 24.
Ready?
Half of 24? Guys, seriously, come on. You guys have to know what half of 24 is.
Oh, wait.
It's 12. All right, RQ, they said that UQ was 9, so what's RU gonna be? 9. So this whole side is going to equal to what? 18. All right. PR, be careful. PR is going to be what? Let's look at this 10 here. That mid segment is 10. So that means that each piece is 10, which makes the whole side what? 20. Now can I find my perimeter? What are your outside numbers? 20 plus 18 plus 24. Okay, there you go. 62. All right, on 46, proportions. You guys already learned this. On 46, what would I normally do to solve this?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply. So 2 times x and 3 times 7
Equals 21.
equals 21. You would divide. You would be left with either 10.5 or you could leave it as 21 over 2. Alright, this is the last one we're going to do on Desmos. Desmos can do a proportion for you. The only thing is, with Desmos, it only recognizes the letters X and Y. If you put in different letters, it confuses everything. So look at number 47. I can change the letter D to what?
B.
What did I just say?
A.
X or Y, right? What do you want to make it, X or Y? Y?
Yeah, because it's smaller.
All right. So let's go to Desmos. And we're going to type in exactly what we see. You probably should keep your laptop open because you're not going to know how to do this. All right, so Nate wanted to use Y. So we're going to do Y minus 4. But because it's an expression, let's put it in parentheses. So parentheses Y minus 4. And then divide it by Y. Slide over. You have equals. And then 3 divided by 7. What's my Y value here? I know, but just count. 7, right? If you don't want to use Y, use X. If you change your Y's to an X, that's fine, but it's still, it's right there. From 5, our line is at 7. So what is the answer to 47? Your answer is 7. All right, so you are doing, huh?
I don't get so.
You don't get what? This is 5, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just count up. All right, you guys are doing the that next page, and you're stopping there. So you need to circle 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53.
Okay.
48 through 50 and 52 through 53 are completely Desmos. For 51, before you put everything away, because you're not going to remember this, for 51, fill in these letters. Your hypothesis is P, your conclusion is Q. This is P to Q. Converse would be Q to P. Inverse, it's not P, it's not Q. Contrapositive is not Q, it's not P. Unless you have that already memorized, make sure you get this. And you are using this sentence. Making to an if-then statement. The first part is if, the second part is then.
If we're